What's going on, Broncos country? How we doing? It is not a Victory Tuesday. The Broncos had a 5-game winning streak. We are not eliminated from the playoffs. And none of the other guys wanted to be here tonight. They just said, I hate you all. So you guys can give them crap next time that they're here. But I was able to do something even better and get us Des from Broncos for Dummies. She is here. She's going to join us. Des, how you doing?
Yo, I'm great. Listen, I got an ice cream cone.
Yes.
And that's all I need right now.
That's all you need.
I was hoping to eat it before we went live, but I guess
we're good. So
it's fine.
Hey guys, start posting your comments, start posting your questions. We'll get to it. Start breaking down the game against the Texans, and then swap halfway through, breaking down and previewing what we're going to expect to see from the game against the Chargers. So let's get at it, Broncos country. Here you go. Welcome to Bourbon Broncos No BS. Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Well, Broncos country, Sunday happened. The Texans game happened. And yeah, I think we're going to let's back up a little bit first, Des, because I don't want to just start right in all the negative stuff, right? Look, 5-game winning streak. Like, we experienced that. We went from 1-5 to 6-5. Des, what was it like on your end? How are you feeling about it?
It was a fever dream. I never wanted to wake up. Every day it was like floating rainbows. I felt alive for the first time in my life in 7 years. I've been searching for this feeling for a long time. It was great.
Yep.
Every time I went into a game and I was like, we might win. And then we did. I just still don't know if I believed it. And I was like, maybe this is my delusion creeping back in, but it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't.
Oh,
so.
Well, by the fourth, by the Browns game, it was like, okay, I can say I know what to expect from this team.
Oh, yeah.
I know the offense is going to be iffy, but I know our defense is going to come through. Right.
Per usual.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so it was good to finally be like, hey, I'm actually feeling confidence in this team. Like, the offense is a long way to go, but we're winning games. We're beating huge name teams, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Browns, one after the other, and so it's not like we're beating these little ragtag bottom of the barrel teams. We're making a name for ourselves. We're shutting people down. So look, it was a fantastic feeling. And so going to the Texans game, I think we can use that to transition into the inevitable of what happened there. So, going to the Texans game, what were some of your thoughts and maybe expectations for that game as well?
Well, anxiety was at an all-time high because going into this game, it got flexed out already. So we were already, I felt that when I got moved from the 1:00 game to 10, it's like, why? Most people are saying because a lot of eyes were going to be on the Niners-Eagles game. I was like, okay.
Right.
But then people were saying because most people want to watch the Broncos-Texans game. And it's like, oh, God. So that's first. First of all, here. Second of all, we're both 6-5. It was going to be a team. They're, in a sense, a lot like the Broncos, although it's a rookie quarterback and a new coach. But, no one saw them coming this year. And I feel like no one saw the Broncos coming this year either. I didn't. Yeah. So I think it was going to be a matchup, and it was going to be a close game, and it was going to be down to the final second. And that's exactly what we saw. So
it didn't look like it for a while.
Yeah.
It looked like that game was potentially going to get real out of hand quickly. But the weird thing right off the bat that just gave me a really bad feeling, other than what you're talking about, because look, the Broncos have a history with not doing well in the early time slot, right? Normally we associate that with the Eastern time zone. So they were saying Central time. Maybe that's enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, the Broncos this year and their ability to at least put points on the board on their opening drive has been a complete 180. And it's been insane. since what we've had in previous years, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So when we go, first off, defense goes out there 3 and out. Like, yeah, that's expected. Like, that's our defense. That's what we're going to do. But then our offense goes out there and just lays. Now, you know, 3 passes. I get you're trying to be aggressive. What were your take on you know, that initial aggressiveness that we saw from Coach Payton?
So I am also on another podcast called the Broncos Fancast, and we were talking about it Saturday night, and we typically have a couple drinks doing it. So me and my co-host, I was getting really angry at him because we were talking about losers and winners over the past couple of weeks. And one of his losers, or like someone that's not showing up, he was saying is Russell Wilson. I was like, how dare you? Got in a whole fight. It was great times. It's all recorded. But he was saying it's because Russ is not throwing it down the field. He's just chucking it just a couple yards here and there. And I remember texting him within like 5 minutes of the game. And I was like, how about that? Because no one's catching it. So Russ listens to all the haters saying he's not doing this. He does it. And then no one catches the balls. So I don't know. I'm going to
it's a two-way street.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And look, I wore my Russ jersey for a reason. Okay.
Good.
It's insane to see how quickly people flipped, you know, or went from at least the Russ haters were being quiet to Russ has a bad game. And yeah, it was a bad game. But then all of a sudden it just blows up. Russ is the worst thing to happen to us since, I don't know, it's World War I. I don't know. Like, this is like the worst thing terrible. He is just the worst. It's like, have you not seen his stats for the past 5 weeks? This is the first game he's thrown an interception in since week 6. Oh, like, give the guy a break, you know? And we can definitely talk about, you know, some of the inaccuracies or maybe, you know, just overthrown, underthrown balls that we saw from Russ. Especially that last play of the game, forcing the end zone on 3rd down, you know, definitely some things there. But what you really saw was one quarterback was protected more. The offensive line held their ground. And that, you know, CJ Stroud was able to just make really good decisions. And just we didn't have that for Russ.
Well, I mean, and what's new? Like, I think like the thing is with the O-line, it's been non-existent. Sure, we saw an uptick, I would say, in the last couple of games. Like Russ finally, he's had some time to figure out what he's going to do. That is truly the difference. If Russ actually had the amount of time that these other quarterbacks that everyone's talking about in the league had, we'd be talking differently about Russ. I really do believe that. He is not given enough time. Every single time it snaps, he has 0.2 seconds and then someone's coming at him because they slip by. Like, he just never has a shot at finding anyone. And it's just at the end of the day, he's who we have right now. And we have to stick by him. Like, he's not going anywhere. Is he our guy forever? No. But he's here right now. And don't you dare forget the last, I know it's 5 game. Is it 6 weeks? Yeah.
6 weeks, 5 games. Yep.
Like what? That was in middle of October. Okay. The Halloween hadn't even happened yet. So now everyone's like, oh my God, the Texans. No. Don't do that.
No, it was just, it's so frustrating. And I get the game was frustrating. It was upsetting. It was just, the offense just could not get anything going, at least consistently. And so, I mean, the quarterback is always gonna be the one that takes the most heat, right? But it's when it's not founded in any like real logic other than, you know, I told you this guy sucked. I'm like, yeah, you've been real quiet for 6 weeks though, you know? Did you really tell me anything? Like, are you just speaking up when it's convenient for you? Like, that's kind of what's happening here. So I don't expect to see Russ have that, you know, that kind of performance again, at least this season. Like, I think everyone saw on the Broncos just what happens when your offense doesn't perform, you know, and maybe a conversation I would expect that they were having in the locker room there, and in the training room with the coaches and everything, saying, hey guys, it's great what we won. Defense, you're doing fantastic, but it's going to come back to bite us if the offense, if you guys don't get this going, if you guys don't figure something out, the defense isn't going to be able to win us every single game. You're going to need to find something, step it up and be more consistent. And it finally beat them in the ass. It finally came back, and that's exactly how it played out. I think defense did everything they could within reason. No turnovers, but sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce in your favor, and here we are.
Yeah. And tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like we were focusing a lot more on the passing game than the run game this game. And it's shocking because for the past 6 weeks, I feel like we've been running the ball and we've been doing it great. So it's like all of a sudden we were like, no, let's get some passes in there. Obviously, it's football. We got to do it. But the run has been so amazing with Javonte, Samaje. Like, we got all the players we need for that. And I don't feel like they really utilize them this game, at least on the offense this time.
Yeah. Well, there was just overall some interesting, I guess, decisions when it came to the players that were on the field. We saw a whole lot more of Jaleel McLaughlin. I love McLaughlin. I think he has a really bright future. The things he's done and the things he's shown, right? Give him some more time to develop. And he could really take off. But why we're using him more over Samaje Perine, who had one run for a yard. What? Like, Samaje Perine's been like one of the top guys on offense over the last 5-6 weeks.
I know.
One touch like that just blows my mind.
Well, I don't think anything really is making sense to me right now. If I had a nickel, but it's like, for instance, we haven't had like a lot of, sorry, there is someone so noisy outside right now. But it doesn't make sense. Like, there's not Travis Kelce on our team. You could sort of say it's Courtland Sutton, but at the end of the day, like, I believe Jerry has 10 less receptions than Sutton. It's not like there's a huge gap. Like, it's still being passed around to a few players. The ball being ran is still being passed around between a few players. I would honestly say I feel like Russell is throwing it to Javonte more than actually handing it to him. Like, there was quite a few passes to him. I just feel like they're passing the ball around. Like, none of it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's Peyton's guy, which I guess is good for other teams trying to figure it out. But I don't get it. So that's the mystery of it all.
It really is. It really, really is. Let's see some comments over here. Catch up. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Put your comments and questions in the chat here. We're going to start bringing these up and see what you guys have on your mind. Anthony, thanks. You're the first one here tonight. Sloppy game. And I think, overall, that was a pretty consistent theme. I think even on,
No, go finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say, I think even on defense, it wasn't as clean as it has been. Like, they still, you held the Texans to 22 points. If you held another team in the NFL to 22 points or less, you're going to win 7 out of 10 times. If you're holding to 20 points or less, you're going to win 9 out of 10. You should win 9 out of 10 times, right?
Yes.
So they did everything they could. I think it just wasn't as clean and crisp as it has been.
Yeah. And I was on the sloppy part. And I am completely spacing, who was the player that yelled at CJ and then we got a penalty and then they got a touchdown?
His name is Alex Singleton.
Singleton. Thank you. Singleton. Yeah. Like, I don't care at the end of the day who started it. We all know in football the quarterbacks are untouchable. If Russ did that, I'd be like, damn, Russ, like, okay, but don't do that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, he was baiting you and you fell for it, bro. Yeah. You fell for it. You looked like a fool. And guess what? You cost us points. Like, in a game where maybe we're playing a team that we absolutely will destroy. Let's take on the Cardinals. Sure. Maybe you can do that a little.
Right. But you can get away with that.
This tight, that each game we play here on out, including that last game, is essentially a playoff game. Like, some people would say there still is a chance, and we'll get to that. But that game was honestly almost make it or break it for the playoffs. You don't bait. You don't get baited. And that was what I thought was sloppy about it. Like, don't be doing these penalties. The refs had it out for us.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I was thinking. Like, definitely had it out for us.
Yep.
But don't fall for it. Like, man up, figure it out, and then
Yeah.
you can talk after the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kurt, completely agree. Kurt, what's up, guys? Tough loss. We weren't going to win 11 in a row. We all wanted it to. After the 5th game in a row, we're like, maybe we could. Like, keep it rolling. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Right, throw it on red. Like, roll it again, whatever. Shake it off, win one of the next 2. Then the last 3 will be okay. Yeah, so, but going to this, and this is something we had talked about on like the pregame, or at least on the pregame show and everything. I was really expecting the Broncos to treat this game really, truly like not just a playoff game, but a chance to show that not only do we want to be in the playoffs, we deserve to be in the playoff. Yeah. And the difference between these two teams that I thought it was going to boil down to, and Kurt, this is why I'm going somewhere with this, was I thought with all the crap the Broncos had been through the last 7 years, and a lot of players have been with the team 4, 5, 6, 7 years. They've been through the crap, right? Mm-hmm. They are finally seeing the positive results. They are finally seeing things turn around. They hit rock bottom, absolute rock bottom, right? And they have turned this around. And so I figured going into this game, you have that team who is finally just feeling it for the first time in years after all the crap they've been through. And another team who is doing very well, very talented, but they just haven't been through that adversity that we've been through. Mm-hmm. They haven't had to fight their way through it. They're just more of a wonder child for the NFL this year. It's like, where did you come from? So I really thought the Broncos were going to bring in that extra little spark to just lay down the hammer. And not saying that they were going to make it a 70-20 game, but that they were going to at least try to have a chance to put it away, mid 4th quarter, early 4th quarter, and really just kind of say, no, enough with the talk. This is us. We are here. We are ready for the playoffs. I don't know if they didn't pack that. They left it on the plane, but there was just none of that. And so that's what makes me concerned about the upcoming games. Again, we'll talk about the Chargers one next because we don't want to look too far ahead. But where's that spark? Because it wasn't there. It's not. It was there, against the Chiefs, against the Vikings and the Browns. It was there against those guys, but we traveled and now it's just gone.
I think, listen, I think what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks was electricity, not even just the spark. It was lightning in a bottle. It was, what is this? None of us saw it coming. Oh my God. Now we're sort of used to this. Can I say without a doubt, I did not see any sparks or any little currents out there. No, I definitely saw a little. There's still we're still seeing Cooper and Browning, step up Benito. We're still seeing younger players start to get into their role. PJ Locke stepping up with Jackson out. There's still little things and I only say this because I tend to go very doom and gloom if we ever lose anything ever. So I'm trying to remember, I know it's wow. We could have that narrative, what you are saying though, if we lost. What was the final score? 22-17. Thank you. 22-17. That, I feel like this narrative could be true if it was 22-3.
Right.
It was blowout. We were one touchdown behind. And if you can pull up it just says Facebook user. They need to tell us, Russ, that one.
Yes. Here we go.
There we go. They need to tell us Russ he doesn't need to win on the last play every game. But that's so true. Russ has been put into these spots over and over and over that it's at the very last part that he's got to do it. And he sometimes does or doesn't pull through. And he's human. He's not going to be perfect. Yeah. No. And so anyways, to your point of where was it, I think we still saw glimpses moving forward. I still think we're going to see it, but there's only so what is it? I don't know if exactly works in this situation, but it's like the house always wins. Like I feel like with the Broncos, they were doing so hot, put it on red, and then it's like the house will always win, but the hot can't go hot for too long. So it's like we had to have a moment, and this might have been our moment. Now everyone's like, when I posted on Sunday with my stories watching the game, I was like, well, this is it. Like our playoff, our playoff go. Why are words hard today? Is non-existent. People are like, listen, if we win XYZ, we're good. But it's like we gotta win every single game.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season.
And it's still very doable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. It is.
It's not as feasible.
I know.
It's still doable.
Why not 11 in a row? Come on.
I know, right? It's heartbreaking. I feel it too. It's just like, oh, that feeling was so good. It's like the first breath of fresh air we have had in 7 years, and now and it's gone.
It's not
gotta be quicker than that.
We're just underwater a little bit, trying to catch our breath, and then hopefully we'll come up for air in a second.
For sure. Let's see, Robert. Been saving this because I want to talk about what happened there at the end of the game, because we were talking about last drive and all that stuff. First off, excellent last drive. I wish they had just been like that throughout the entire game. Half the game. If the game was made up of half the drives like that, the Broncos would have won easily, right? But okay, fine, we'll save it for the end. Give me another heart attack. Why not? Just throw it in. I have one every week with y'all anyway.
Broncos, baby, you got it. Broncos and heart attack, 2-2. Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, here we are. Definitely, it's in the red zone. What about the 7-yard line? So they have some room to work with behind them. And I'm like, 4 chances. You don't rush it. Don't force it in there. If the pass isn't there, just throw it away. Right. That's what we saw the first 2 plays. And I'm like, that's okay. You don't force it into the end zone until it's 4th down. 3rd down, and people are so mad at Russell Wilson for throwing that football. And part of the blame is probably on him, but if you didn't see, Garrett Bowles just got beat badly on the left-hand side there. I mean, Russ wasn't even finished with his drop back, and that player, the Texans guy, was in his face. So there were several breakdowns on that play. It started with the rush. That, it's like, well, I wish, Russ, you had just thrown it just a little harder, a little further away to make sure nobody else could catch it. But I also think that backup tight end, I can't remember who it was. Was it Lucas Kroll was back there? Haven't even heard his name, right? I think he was just as shocked the ball was coming to him. And someone was like, why is he just standing in the end zone? Why isn't he running up to catch it? He's probably like, you're throwing to me? Why are you throwing the ball to me? Like,
why not?
That's what I would do if I was out there. I'd be like, don't throw the ball my way. Like, get it to Sutton, get it to Gary Judy. So I think he was probably just like, what?
Oh,
but it was just, it's like, man, I wish we had just gotten that out and seen what happened on 4th down, just to have that one extra chance. But I don't know, like, what else did you see on that play? Like, what were your thoughts, like, feeling after that, and maybe where you're at now with it all?
Listen, honestly, I think I blacked out. Okay, let's be honest. Like, the emotion, alcohol, I don't know. That last part, all I remember is despair. It just, and the last play of the game was a timing play. I'm thinking when the tackle failed, blocked the defensive end, it ruined the play, That was all. It all came from my mind. What I just said right there.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you.
Oh, we have a comment just like that. That's weird.
Oh, Robert, you agreed with me. No, it's just like, I think after this game, like, I've been listening to some podcasts, reading some articles. I think anyone panicking, no, you stop there. Anyone saying Russ is a problem again, no, you stop there. And anyone saying, I don't know. I think those are like the main 2 things. I'm not worried. This game did not make me worry. I'm just bummed. I was just like, man, we could have kept it going. There's no glaring issues besides the O-line and keeping our emotions in check. That were my 2 biggest issues.
Yeah, that one's tough for me. That second one, that That is.
Well, I'm
something I
talking about the
struggle with.
players getting penalties.
Oh yeah, the players' emotions too. The players' emotions. Yeah,
Whatever you want.
that's what I meant too.
Yeah.
was-
Totally.
Yeah. That penalty, and it's like, dude, you know better.
I know.
we
That's
already
fair.
talked about it, but it's still just like, just thinking about it, you're like, you know, they're- and then people are like, we need to get rid of Alex Singleton. I'm like, okay, you have
No,
you have
we
idea what
don't
you're talking
panic.
about.
We don't
We don't
fire
panic.
everyone. That's not what we do. Okay.
Just like Jerry says, and like Facebook user says, think positive, and that's.
Why does it say Facebook user? Who are you?
So sometimes in when it goes to different groups on Facebook, it doesn't register as the person's name, so it just comes up here as Facebook user. Yeah,
This
so
is mysterious. We
it is.
love that.
Who's on the other side there? Yes.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's Russell Wilson himself, checking us out. So
Oh my god,
Mr.
Russ.
Russ, got you covered, bud.
Yeah.
So thinking positive here. Chiefs, Broncos. I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bit because I want to get this bad taste out of my mouth.
Wait, who? Huh? Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs,
Broncos, Chargers.
Okay, there you go.
Chargers, Broncos. Yes.
Okay. Yes. I'm stoked. So excited. I'm going to the game. It's gonna be a good time. It's very normal for the Broncos to split the games that we play against the Chargers. But the thing is, what everyone's saying, we got to win every game moving forward besides Detroit. We're given one L for that one. So that means we got to win both Chargers games.
Yeah.
I mean, and also playing in Los Angeles, like there's always 10 times more Broncos fans than Chargers fans. Chargers fans just don't exist here.
Who would really honestly want to be a Chargers fan? Unless you're like, I'm from the area, so I kind of
correct. Yeah. I know a couple and they're still sad about it. So it's like so it's basically it's a home game. It's a double home game for the Broncos, even though it's the second game on the road. But I think we got it. We definitely got a shot. The Chargers are always going to Charger. And I think the Broncos are in a place that they're like, and especially Russ, he's always trying to be the best. Like maybe it was good that we got beat down a little. So like now we rev up again, especially right before the Lions.
Yes. I was thinking the same thing. Like if you're going to drop a game that's maybe going to send your team a wake up call and say, okay, now it's really game on. That was the one to do it. Like that was the worst game to lose out of this 5-game stretch, 6-game stretch, whatever. But if it turns them around like the Dolphins game did, okay, like game on, let's go. Yeah,
you think that's what turned them around? I don't know, because they didn't start really.
I think that was the start of it. That was really, I think, the start of it, because just again seeing the looks and the faces and Garrett Bowles, I mean, just you want to see a man that is just absolutely defeated. Like I've never seen that in him, right? Because I know him so well and I see him all the time.
I was like, if you want to see someone defeated, just like FaceTime me daily.
Yeah. Daily. Oh yeah. Look in the mirror, Kevin. Yeah.
Life just knocked out.
I think that turned it around, and I think the coach, the leadership they have from the coaching was a huge Kickstarter to it, because if we had any other coach, Hackett, Vance Joseph as our head coach, like they wouldn't have been able to turn that around. But I think the leadership and the knowledge that Sean Payton has was a huge Kickstarter. And then once they saw that little bit of success, they're like, okay, here we go. We're turning this around, and they just exponentially went off. Right. So I think this is a similar situation of that was not the game to lose, guys, but we lost it. So yeah. Okay. If we want a chance, we can maybe allow ourselves to drop to the Lions, which, in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about that. And I think that's still a winnable game, but yeah, we can't split with the Chargers. We can't.
Nope.
So it's game on.
Yeah. And when's the last time we beat them? Both.
Don't make me look. Don't make me look.
I'm looking right now, but
I'm gonna have to go back a ways.
It's okay. I can look right now. But the thing is like it's been a thing. So listen, I always go to this site. Chargers at Broncos, Denver Chargers. Chargers won back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We won back-to-back. Nope, that was different seasons. Oh, wait. It was 2019.
Okay, so it wasn't that long ago. Okay.
No. So we won
3 years
both
ago.
games in 2019.
No one's perfect. It's okay. I know you're trying your best. Maybe she'll, kids do silly things when they're young.
Oh.
So just give her some time, let her grow up, and hopefully she'll see the right way,
I was not back on the screen yet. And
yeah, here's like, what are you talking about?
My best. I'm reading right now.
I'm trying, Kevin.
Please. Okay, whatever. Ooh, sorry, man. Sorry, Facebook.
You're good.
Sorry, Russell Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. Let's see. So yeah, 2019, not that long ago. And I know people are probably looking at the Chargers game last week against the Patriots. That was 6-0. I don't think that's going to be this feel of the game. Mm-hmm. I think the Chargers are going to look at and see what Houston did to put us in our place, and that was pushing the ball down the field. And I would not be surprised they go out there and they try the exact same thing. Now I'm hoping Broncos are ready for it and they pick off Herbert 6, 7, 8 times. That's fantastic.
Let's have it happen.
But yeah, so what are some of your thoughts kind of going into this game? What are you looking for? What are your expectations?
My expectations, I hope they get back on the run game, because really missed that last game. Thought we could do more. I really think Russ just needs more time. So I don't know who it was. Was it Bowles? Was it McGlinchey? I don't know. That O-line's got to step it up. So that is also what I'm going to be looking for. I just don't want to see as many penalties that lead to points. Sure, we can argue the refs caused that, but at the end of the day, we just can't do enough to get close enough to have a penalty on a point play. I don't know. It's just those are the main things that I think lost us this game, and so I think that's what I'm looking forward to next game and hoping that changes.
Yeah. No, I think you could say to some degree the Broncos more beat themselves than anything, allowing the points off of turnovers, the points off of penalties, poor offensive line play, and not to take away from anything that the Texans did, because the Texans played a very solid game, and very smart quarterback play, defense, from the very beginning kind of was, in that go get 'em mentality, but we helped them. We definitely helped them. Alex Singleton essentially gave them some points, turnover after we got, was this game we got a turnover and then turned it right back over?
Probably. I know there are 3.
Yeah, one of them. Let's see. Yeah, I think at some point it was we got the ball and then we gave the ball right back or something like that. But the 3 interceptions, they scored off of those. Well, let's see. At least one of those they got, some points off of. But if we can clean that up, that's going to take care of a whole lot of stress for the defense and the offense to take care of business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're still in the and I think it's a correct notion, but you still believe that it's our offense lacking and our defense is the one bringing us through possibly this 6-game win streak.
I believe that's correct. Yes. Look. Oh
my God.
And if I understand what you said, right, the offense has done a lot to help win these games. I mean, score some late game points, come back from behind like in this last game, where it was at what point 16-3, and it's oh, that's not good. This isn't good, right? So they've done a lot. It's just they're not consistent about it. So even if they're just consistently average, we're going to win these games.
Well, yeah, and also devil's advocate, the defense isn't consistent either. I think it's equally offense and defense for the first time ever showing up. Typically I'm always yep, defense, you got it, babe. That's the one. But this time I feel finally it's both, and I think both slightly slipped up. I think, like you said, the Texans drove a little too hard and we weren't able to stop them. And I think Russ was just making a little bit sloppier throws than what he was used to. Both of those things combined, I think, sort of had that game slip through our fingers. So I just think if each step it up just one, I think we got the Chargers easy peasy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yes.
I like it. Sean, how you doing, buddy? We almost beat a red hot Texans team. We did. When you think about it, like
Red hot.
looking at the whole game, it wasn't really close there until the end. But needless to say, it was a close game, right? It didn't get away from us at any point. Clash of teams, hot recently, and we had a chance to win late. We're going to be very competitive against San Diego. They're always going to be San Diego, who has been struggling a lot, barely beat New England. I just don't want to get into this be lured in this false sense of security going, oh, they only beat the Patriots by 6. Like they could only put 6 points up against them. Like, oh, we got this, And I just, I want to make sure the Broncos go out there and, again, play like not only do we want to be in the playoffs, we deserve to be in the playoffs. Let us show you why, And if they play to that, they can beat any of these teams handedly, It's just a matter of, like you were talking about, the consistency on both sides of the ball, the cleaning up the penalties, things. It's the little things. It's the details. And Sean Payton is very detail oriented. I can guarantee you he was nitpicking everything.
Love it.
I would not want to be in that meeting room Monday morning as they go through and look at all of the little things they were doing, because I'm sure that just frustrated the absolute hell out of them,
Oh, yeah. But good. As he should.
Yeah, look good. And I think that's, again, you drive that point home over the week. Hey, you got to pay attention to the details. Again, this is what we're talking about. That loss could actually turn around and be a really good thing for us in the long run.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, one thing I want to ask you about, the run game has done well for us, right? And that's kind of our identity, is we are that run first team. We love Pookie. We love Javonte Williams. He's our man, right?
Yep.
Are you concerned at all about basically the Broncos offense? The Broncos run game has 2 players like Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams and Samaje Perine are like the same player. That power right down the middle guy. But we don't have a quick playmaker. And what I'm talking about this is, out of 153 carries, Javonte Williams, who I love, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, be careful what you're about to say next.
He only has 1 carry for over 20 yards. And I'm not saying, do we need to be concerned about Javonte? Do you see us not having that dynamic 2-pronged running attack being a problem for the Broncos down the stretch?
You don't feel that Jaleel feels that position?
I mean, looking at his stats from this last game, I just don't think the trust is there yet. I mean, they gave him 4 carries, 15 yards, but they only gave him 4 carries.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course the trust isn't there yet. They got Samaje from the Saints, which is Sean's guy, Javonte, which has been around, and Jaleel's the first year. So he's a rookie. Yeah. So I think Jaleel is enough of a difference from those two to show us something. Like, do I think he's another Philip Lindsay? Like, I don't know. I haven't seen enough yet, but I don't think he's going to be given enough shots while we still have those 2 running backs.
Yes.
Those 1 and 2s,
Agreed. And so I would like to see, and I completely agree. And I'm not saying cut Samaje Perine. I'm saying I think it's smarter to allow Jaleel these chances to develop, give him the ball a little bit more, let him get into a rhythm. Let Javonte be the guy and split it with Samaje. Let them be the guys to run it down the middle, right? Get those 4 or 5 yards down the middle, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Those are the guys, like, give it to them, power up the middle, right? But I think if you give Jaleel some more chances, you're going to see him develop quicker, and hopefully we'll see some more of those breakout plays, that if we can get some of those run breakout plays going, that is just going to help out the pass game and the offensive line as well so immensely. But I think that kind of was part of why the offensive line was struggling so much, was because we couldn't really get a solid run game going consistently. And when we did try to pass, they were just all over us right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's an interesting take. I'm curious to see if they will. I mean, like we saw with what's it face? Oh my God, Randy Gregory being let go. I think when we let those more veteran players go and the younger guys be able have the capacity to step it up, we are seeing that. Like we already mentioned with the edge rushers that we've been seeing. You're not wrong. I think the identity of this Broncos team moving forward, I think, is going to be young. I mean, one of our oldest players that's been with us the longest is Justin Simmons, and like the rest, we just have a lot of new names. Like it's very normal for me to be watching a Broncos game and be like, wait, which player is this? Like there's a lot of new players, and like that's football every year. But for the first time, it's not those everyday Broncos players that you see all the time. Like we're seeing it switch up a lot. So like, who knows? Maybe Payne will start passing it to Jaleel after he watches this podcast. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, they do play this, just so you know, like over the speakers during practice, you know, the next day and stuff. So
I know. And Sean,
that's what I've been told anyway by myself.
Yes. Listen, I'll take it to the grave. I'll believe it. Why not?
Don't say my ego any more than it already is.
One thing Shane Mapes, the only thing I think, Wilson needs to do better is see the open receivers. So there's a viral video going around of Mr. Judy getting pretty pissed off because he was wide open and Russ didn't throw to him. Curious what your take is on that.
It reminds me of KJ Hamler last year.
Yeah.
I can't remember what game.
Chargers, I was there.
Yeah, there you go. So just when he just got so visibly frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. I do. I get that when you're that open and it's that close of a game and you're like, I could have done something, you know, like, why didn't you look my direction? But I think you have to really keep those emotions in check, right? I think once you start seeing players react visibly like that, it kind of sends a message to the whole team. I think the whole team looks at that and goes, oh, yeah, it's like, you're right. Like, like we really screwed that one up again, you know, versus going back there and being like, let's talk about this, Russ. Like, let's see, like, let's try to get on the same page. And not to say that they weren't doing that, but just reserve those emotions for a talk one-on-one with Russ, you know, and be like, dude, I am pissed. Yeah, I was there. Like, you know, next time we run this, like, you've got to look at me, you know, or something along those lines. So I think what you're just seeing is, a team that was red hot, doing really well, a playmaker and a guy who is, I think he knows he's better than maybe what his stats are showing, and he's dying for more opportunities. And I think you saw it. It was this game where he got that long pass and he was just fighting to get to the end zone. He was just fighting to get to the goal. And you could tell, I think just in that moment, he was like, I want it so badly, like to just finally say, I got a touchdown. And he was just a yard short. Right. So I think he's just frustrated in that as well. And so it wasn't just that play. I think it was a buildup of things, but overall, I think there's just maybe some maturity discussion there that if I was Coach Payne, I'd be like, I get it. I understand. We can't be showing those visible, outbursts, on the field or something. So, and maybe that just be being nitpicky. Like, again, I'm not trying to say like he has no reason to be frustrated, but I am too as a fan, because he was open. And it's like, man, he could have gotten that ball. Like that would have been a huge play for us. So I don't know. What's your take? I'm kind of just mumbling now at this point.
Fine, mumble away. I don't know what I think because I constantly say when I talk about football, whether on podcasts or in my videos, like to a lot of people's surprise, I've never played football. Never have. Never suited up. Nope. Not professionally. I know. Not college.
Canadian football, right? But that's not the same.
I just like whenever someone is like, hey, they should have done XYZ, I will take that advice if you have done it yourself. So if you are another quarterback or have played in that position and you are saying that about him, if Peyton Manning was talking about this on the Manningcast, then I'd be like, oh, okay, Russ needs it. But he had maybe 2 seconds to make a decision. Either he can run for it and get another first down and give us a couple more downs to go, or he can throw it and maybe Judy doesn't catch it. I don't know what was going on in his head. I think we can't put all the blame on Russ. There's so many things that the quarterback position has to do. This is why they are paid the most in the NFL. I do not, at the end of the day, and like I said with Alex Singleton, and I also agree with this with Jerry Jeudy, there wasn't a flag on it, but it's just, I mean, we know Jerry Jeudy is very quick to lose his temper. It's really interesting because, like, when I was looking at Judy's stats the other day, I was like, man, he isn't doing that bad. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of this season, I've been like, where's Judy? But he's like, even last game, I was just looking. He had 3 out of 4 receptions and along the 41 yards. And then Sutton only had 2 receptions out of 7 targets. Like, I feel like I should be feeling the way I feel about Judy towards Sutton right now, but I
That's
don't.
fair.
You know?
That's fair. No, yeah.
I don't know. And is it because of what he's done off the field that I feel this way? I'm not sure. Who knows? That's my take.
I like it. That's a very interesting comparison that I didn't even look at. 3 for 4 versus 2 for 7. Yeah, Cortland Sutton had 77 yards, but he only had 2 receptions out of 7 targets. And you could say, one of those early passes was really well defended. The other one he probably really should have had, but again, he's human. He's not going to make an incredible catch on every single play, right? But it is like, that'd been really nice if he had caught that one, buddy.
Yeah, the one straight to his hands in the end zone. Oh my God, that breaks my heart. That's gonna haunt my soul for a bit.
It is. That's why I'm like, let's just get to Sunday because I'm ready to put this game in the past.
I know. It was brutal, but like it happens. They're human. Like there's no way he could do it every time. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But you're right. Like I think Judy. And maybe that's part of his frustration as well, as he knows he's maybe a little bit more consistent. He hasn't made some of those huge, big time, constant replay catches that Cortland Sutton has. But when he is being targeted, he is more consistent in. So maybe that's part of his frustration as well. But you're completely right. And there's so many moving pieces. As soon as that ball is snapped, you're talking about 22 different people going 22 different directions, and the quarterback has got to figure out what the defense is doing, where his guys are going, and is he going to get sacked? Does he need to roll out? Does he need to extend the play? Does he need to just throw it away? Make the first read, second read. Am I going to throw it, check it down? All in like 2 seconds. All in like 2 seconds. And if, like Robert here is saying, when the defensive, the defense is in your face right away, that just makes it exponentially harder. So, and I think there's frustrations all the way around. And we saw, I think we just saw that come out in Jerry Jeudy's reaction. So I can't fault him. I would just, I would be like, dude, just keep that to the sideline. Keep that between you and Russ or whatever. Like if you want to go bitch him out or something on the sideline, hey man, I really fucking hate you right now, or something on the DL. So I don't know, that it's nitpicky. I don't think it really matters at the end of the day, but I felt the frustration. I did too in that moment. I was like, oh yeah, that sucks. He was open,
Oh, totally. But we can see that because we're watching it on TV. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure Russ knew afterwards. Like, I don't know. It's always like, it's easy to look at it and be like, oh, why didn't he do that? And then I'm like, would you have done it if you were there playing quarterback in the NFL? I don't know. But not most of us are. There's only 32 of them. So here we are.
Steve Williams says, offensive play calling still comes into question for me. It's nice seeing the first play going for some long passes instead of runs up the middle. So, I like the aggressiveness of what we did, and I hope we kind of go out there and we attack within reason. I hope we attack the Chargers in a similar fashion, right? I think we need to, establish our run game early as well and maybe use those to get something going, but don't let that stop you from taking a shot down the field early, right? So find that balance between keeping, our identity of who we are on the offense versus, trying to get some points on the board early, strike early, and get that positive momentum. The sooner you get in the lead, the sooner you can just totally forget about the Texans game and say, okay, we're back. We got some points on the board. We're back. We got this.
Yes, but I also don't want them to forget about it. I want them to remember and improve. There's some games I want them to forget. Like I was about to say the Dolphins, but actually I don't want them to forget it.
No.
They don't. They can't forget that one.
Maybe the Washington game. They
Yeah,
definitely
like
need to
that
not.
one.
Yeah,
Like
like that
that.
one. You definitely blew that one.
It. Yeah, like okay. But like no, like with the Texans, like it's okay. Okay, we got beat. We didn't get beat hard, but there's still some room for improvement, and we're gonna keep working at it. Like we're in that race. We can taste it. And I think just because we're just on the outskirt of it, it just pushes us a little bit more. So you could say because we lost, maybe what if we won? What if we won and we got that essentially almost clinched the playoffs? Like almost did essentially. Maybe you would, I wouldn't say you would stop trying, but like, I don't know if it's just like still a little bit of a race, like it's that chase, who knows? I don't freaking know. I don't know what I talk about ever, but
yeah, I just pretend, I just fake pretending well
oh,
enough to make people believe that I know what I'm talking
oh
about.
yeah. No one please believe that I know what I'm talking about ever. So here we are.
So before we end the show, I do want to run a scenario by you that nobody else is talking about, and I think is maybe interesting enough to throw it into the universe and see what happens.
Oh my God.
Yes, the Broncos lost.
Okay.
But the Chiefs also lost. We are still only 2 games behind first place. Looking at who the Chiefs have coming up, they are home against the Bills, away at the Patriots. You'd probably say that's definitely a win. They still got the Raiders again. Then they got the Bengals, who just won. And you got the Chargers. They're away at they're at LA the last game of the season there. So they have 2 more division matchups themselves, along with some tough teams. The Raiders aren't great, but it's a divisional matchup there. The Bengals, that's going to be a rematch from playoff years. And the Bills are still looking to re-solidify who they are and get back in the playoff race. So look, like, I kind of want to throw this out there. Like, we're really focused on us getting a wild card slot, but there's also a chance, albeit a small one, that if the Broncos keep winning, the Chiefs drop a few games, we're not just talking about a wild card slot for the Broncos. We're talking about possibly winning the AFC West.
Holy cow. Oh my God, I just got goosebumps.
It's solidifying a home playoff game.
Oh my God. Okay. I see where you're at. Okay. So we are 2 behind, but also mind you, we are only 1 ahead of the Chargers and Raiders. The margin for error is minuscule. Like I have always said, the AFC West is the toughest division in the NFL, and I buy it, my God. But you're not wrong. Like I think the Bengals could definitely upset the Chiefs after what we saw, like getting in that new little QB. He really proves a lot of us wrong. Bills, I don't know. Chargers, the first game, they were tight. The Chargers and Chiefs until like the very end, the Chiefs came back. It is, well, that's good. It's going to be at Arrowhead, isn't it?
No, it's in LA. Last game of the season. Chargers, Chiefs in LA.
Okay, then that might be possible. Raiders, I don't know. Like there could always be like.
Do you ever trust the Raiders to do anything good for the Broncos? Like they're always going to be like, what's the worst thing we could do for the Broncos? That's lose. We're going to go out there and lose.
That's so true. Let's just hope that like Mahomes gets the flu again.
Poor little baby. Oh, cough. I have a fever of 98.9. That flu. Yeah. There's look, Des, there's the man flu and then there's the Mahomes flu. Okay. Like, let's just throw that out there.
I love it. I love the spiciness. I love it. Listen, hey, it worked out in our favor. I hope he gets it again. So you are right. I think I don't think we know this division is way closer than any of us think about or talk about. So it's possible, Kev. I like that theory.
Just saying, we are still in a position that I couldn't have fathomed being in when we were 1-5.
Nope.
Nope. And the fact now, I don't know how a tiebreaker between the Broncos and Chiefs would be because we split with them, and then you're probably looking at the divisional record. So I would think that you definitely need the Chargers at least to beat them, and it'd just be great if somehow the Raiders were able to find a way to upset them there as well.
Oh,
so.
that'd be so cool.
I'm just saying, like I want to throw that in the universe at this point because the Broncos or the Chiefs lost to the Packers, and now look, Jordan Love is really turning it on, but it's still like the Chiefs lost to the Packers. Like that says something.
This might be the start to the end.
I just want to take a second here, Des, before we wrap up.
Yes.
Just imagine what that would be like. End of the season, games are over. Chiefs don't get a wild card slot somehow. I don't know. Just imagine that. And the Broncos are on top of the AFC West with a home playoff game.
Oh my God.
After starting 1-5.
It is just so crazy. It just might work. Okay.
It just might work. Okay.
Just might work. Why
Look,
not?
if people start talking about that in a few weeks, let's say Chiefs drop one more, Broncos keep winning, people start talking about that, you just say Kev Dan brought it up first. Right
Kev
here.
Dan brought it up first, everyone. You heard it here first.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
Let's start wrapping up. Does send it over some closing thoughts for you. You know, some takeaways from this last week's game. What again, and what are you really hoping for? And hell, even throw out a score prediction if you want for this upcoming game.
Ooh, a nice score prediction. Closing thoughts. We've spoke about it all. I am not super sad about this. Well, day off, I was so sad. But that's just because I'm a terrible sore loser. But as now I've processed it, I'm not sad. We'll be okay. I think that we're going to be fine. It's another home game. Well, it's a home game this week, sort of, in LA.
Basically.
So many Broncos fans show up. I'm just super stoked. I'll be at the game. It's going to be a fun week. I think this is our time that we're going to show out. And score prediction, I think it's going to be, I don't know. Let's say, I want it in the 30s. 32 to 24. No, 32 to 17. Final
I
answer.
love it. Final answer. Lock it in. Okay. I like the optimism. Man, to see this team put up 32 points would be one, it's very possible. I'm not saying it's like don't hold your breath. It would just be a huge confidence boost. You know, not only is your defense firing on all cylinders there and shutting down Herbert, who I don't know why ESPN just loves this guy, you know, but, you know, just to shut him down and, you know, just move on to the next game with that under our belt would be going to Detroit. Having a game like that would be huge. So
now,
look, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing how much orange is in the stands. Really.
Okay.
I think it's going to be fantastic. And
Amazing.
To hear how loud y'all are when the Chargers offense is on the field.
Hear me.
I'm still fighting to get my voice back from the Browns game.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, it was worth it because I shut up the guy behind me who was just the most annoying Browns fan in the world. But yeah, I think I might have done like some permanent damage to my vocal cords. Anyway.
Oh, no.
I got to get ready for the Christmas Eve game when I'm going to be just as loud again. So
yes.
But yeah, I'm looking for something similar, you know, a high scoring Broncos offense to go out there and just be like, look, last week was a fluke. We're here, you know, we're back. We got another win under our belt. We're still in this. Our chances maybe go up from 20% to like 30, 35%, but we're moving back in the right direction. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're all we're doing is taking care of what we can control. And that's all we can ask them to do. So, look, let's wait for the Chargers to charger. Let's keep enjoying the fact that we're playing meaningful football in December, Des.
Love it.
I was thinking today, I feel like, wow, this season seems like it's going on forever. I'm like, there's still 5 games left. Why does it feel this way compared to others? I'm like, oh, yeah, because I actually still really deeply care about every game.
Right? I know.
Like,
we still have a December to root for the first time in years.
Yeah.
Like we're alive in December. This is wild.
It is. This is great. So, and we're going to see a whole lot more of this every year in and year out with Sean Payne, I think. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride, Des.
Buckle up, baby. Buckle up.
Hey, guys, like I put up here on the screen earlier, if you want to follow Des, make sure you go follow her on Instagram at Broncos for Dummies, also on YouTube as well. Speaking of YouTube, if you don't mind giving us a help going to our YouTube channel, subscribing to us there, link below, and helping us out that way. Really appreciate the support from everybody who's tuning in tonight. All your comments, all your questions. It's been a great show, and really hoping for the Broncos to go out there and taking care of business. Des, you're fantastic, and you saved everybody who watched the show tonight from hearing me talk for an hour straight. So thank you.
Oh my God, no worries at all. Listen, I have to say my last thing. Shane gave me a little chuckle there. The very last comment. That when we win the game on Sunday. Say, does anyone have a charger? Because I want to say that. You bet.
I'm gonna remember that. Nice.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, Des, I think there's nothing else to say other than what we always do here at Orange Weekly. Just to end this on a very strong Go Broncos!
Go Broncos!
Take care, everyone.
Yeah, I do what I like. Yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right. And I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro.